Thank you, Sarah. It's my pleasure today to introduce the recipient of this year's Donald H. McGannon Award. The McGannon Award is given annually to an individual or organization in recognition of special contributions to advancing the roles of women and persons of color in the media. Throughout his distinguished career, Joseph W. Wise, Jr. has worked to build bridges between media and telecommunications companies and the members of the public they serve. That commitment was nurtured early in life when he worked for the National Citizens Committee for Broadcasting, which became the Telecommunications Research and Action Center. Sam Simon, a longtime friend of OC Inc., recalls that the NCCB, Joe was a very good writer and even faster typist. Joe eventually became its deputy director, and in 1982, he and Sam co-edited the Citizens Primer on the Fairness Doctrine for that organization. Back in those days, the committee made use of a large number of interns. One of them was Ann Stuckey, and we're pleased that Ann's here. Ann, are you here somewhere? There's a real coincidence there. Ann and Joe are married, and they celebrate their 30th. They celebrate their 30th wedding anniversary. During his long career at Comcast Corporation, Joe served as the founding president of the Comcast Foundation before retiring earlier this year as senior vice president for external affairs and the company's public policy council. Throughout his career, Joe has carved out the time to serve on the boards of nonprofit groups that are dedicated to expanding arts education and access to telecommunication services. He served 2 terms as chairman of Settlement Music School in Philadelphia, the nation's oldest and largest community school of the arts. He also served on the boards of the Minority Media and Telecommunication Council, the Internet Educational Foundation, and the Telecommunications Policy Research Conference. He also served as president of the Federal Communications Bar Foundation. While Joe was president of the Comcast Foundation, the company increased its participation in the Emmett Bowen internship program for minority youth 7-fold, becoming the leading cable company in the program. The Emma Bowen Foundation is particularly close to our hearts. It was named after a close colleague of Everett Parker, and its executive director has also received the McGannon Award. Joe's efforts to promote diversity in hiring were exemplified by his own staff and their dedication to the value of diversity. Joe walks the walk, he just doesn't talk the talk. I had a conversation with a colleague of his this morning, and it was kind and very accurate in that he suggested that the cable industry got religion when Joe Wise actually started talking about adoption. We believe it's important for us to hold up models for others who work in the industry. Each of us should contribute where we can to the greater good, and Joe has demonstrated that to an impressive degree. For all these reasons, we're pleased to honor Joe Wise, Jr. with the Donald H. McGannon Award for 2011.
Thank you so much, Earl and Sarah, and good morning, everyone. It's a real honor to be here and to be among the incredible list of names I saw scrolling by this morning of past awardees and recipients of the Don McGannon Award. And it's also a real pleasure to be here with 2 other deserving awardees this morning. As Earl mentioned, there are 2 great legacies of my time at the National Citizens Committee for Broadcasting. One is 30 years of wedded bliss, but the other is equally enduring, is the fact that I learned public interest principles in that setting, and I've really tried to embrace them and advocate for them during my entire career. So since those days, my 13 years with the organization now known as Wexler Walker, where Dale Snape, who's also here this morning, recruited me many years ago, and my 17 years at Comcast, I've been privileged to work in very supportive environments where I was able to both do good and try to do well for my clients and my company. I always tried to find creative ways to advance public interest goals by finding avenues where that would advance the business and reputational interests of the companies while also bringing something to the community. That was very satisfying, but it was only possible because I had the opportunity to work with enlightened business leaders and colleagues. So with the completion of the Comcast NBC Universal transaction a few months before my retirement, the combined company is now able to implement a wide-ranging series of programs that we developed to affirm the company's commitment to diversity and opportunity. Now, David Cohen, the company's EVP and Chief Diversity Officer, along with Brian Roberts, Steve Burke, and a dedicated team of professionals, many of whom are with me here this morning, are carrying out those many commitments that were made as part of the transaction. From Internet Essentials, which is determined to get more low-income Americans connected to the Internet, to the creation of a joint diversity council for the company, really the first and largest of its kind that I've seen any company create, to the launch of an investment fund to create opportunities for minority tech entrepreneurs, to new opportunities for minority programming, and many more. So in recognizing me today, you're also recognizing and encouraging those efforts by Comcast and NBC Universal, and for both of these things, I thank you very much.